it seems like Governor Kemp could be on board with changing unemployment payments across the state. The governor and the Georgia Department of Labor commissioner talked about some possible changes to federal pandemic unemployment programs in the state. They're not saying any specifics, but an op-ed just released by the Georgia Chamber of Commerce gave 9 suggestions that include suspending additional federal unemployment benefits as a way to encourage people to find new jobs. The op-ed says in the last 90 days, Georgia businesses have reported at least 400,000 job openings, and there are more than 231,000 Georgians on unemployment.